Baby, bro. It's that Lil Baby with the power, bro. And nobody was going with a nigga.
The flight, I get on the flight at 5 a.m. by myself. Haven't heard from her. Then the next day, she at a Lil Baby restaurant leaving taste test reviews. I'm like, this what you...
I was I want to take accountability for all the girls that was following that because I made everything look cool. That was just me in survival mode. For real, and not like thinking it through or setting back or...
Chrisean Rock just dropped an accusation so wild it shook the whole internet, and suddenly all that back and forth between her and Blueface feels like the warm-up to something way darker. In the middle of fighting for her baby, crying on live, and clapping back at Blueface nonstop, Chrisean claimed that Lil Baby was trying to sell her off to his wealthy sugar partner for threesomes, like she was supposed to be some kind of product in a setup she never agreed to. That's a crazy thing to even imagine happening, and the timing alone had people losing their minds. And this didn't pop up out of thin air either. For months, Blueface has been obsessed with dragging Lil Baby into every situation involving Chrisean, accusing her of sneaking around, throwing Lil Baby's name into every argument, even name-dropping him in songs like he was part of their storyline. So when Chrisean finally snapped and threw this claim out, the whole internet froze like...
Lil Baby though, was Lil Baby trying to fuck?
Blueface wasn't trying to
I know I wasn't asking about Blueface, I was asking about Lil Baby.
I'm saying like it don't start like that.
What are we even supposed to do with that information right now? Some fans laughed it off, thinking she was just fed up. Others said it actually explains why Blueface stayed so pressed about Lil Baby from the jump. But real talk, if even a tiny piece of what she's describing is true, that's not just messy, that's straight up exploitation. And the fact that Chrisean shared this while stuck in a custody battle makes the whole thing hit way harder than a regular social media rant. Even before Chrisean exposed anything tied to Lil Baby, her whole situation with Blueface was already spiraling. The moment she gave birth, instead of stepping up and acting like a responsible father, Blueface was online posting wild takes, calling her selfish, and threatening to snatch custody of their son. The internet watched their whole situation unravel in real time. And this latest claim just pushed everything into a new level of chaos.
He taking my kid from me, bro. Nobody taking my baby from me, yo. Nobody taking my baby from me, yo. You know how much I took when I was pregnant with him? Nobody taking my baby, yo.
Blueface literally hopped on Twitter and typed out, "If she don't take my son serious and make that her main focus and priority for at least 30 days, I will file for custody. My kid not finna be molested and touched on like everybody in her family, dead homies. I don't play them type of games." That wasn't just a rant. That was him blasting his whole plan to take her to court while the baby was still brand new, and he said it like it was nothing. The way he threw those accusations around had people online stunned because that's a serious claim to attach to somebody's family. But here's where everything starts connecting in the messiest way. Right in the middle of all that drama, Blueface kept circling back to Lil Baby's name like it was part of the storyline. He kept accusing Chrisean of sneaking around, saying she cared more about networking and so-called connections than taking care of their child. One of their biggest blow-ups even happened because he convinced himself she was spending time with Lil Baby right before she gave birth, which created a whole new level of chaos. Chrisean later went live, crying and yelling, "You made it about that Lil Baby, bro! This is not Lil Baby's baby!" Hearing her breakdown like that showed just how far Blueface's paranoia had gone. From the very start, their whole custody war had Lil Baby's name dragged into it, even though he never said a single word about them publicly. This whole storyline was getting messier by the minute, and then it got even heavier. While Blueface was still firing off his tweets, Chrisean finally spoke for herself. And instead of dropping some cute clapback, she went live and completely broke down. This wasn't the loud trolling version of her people joke about. She was shaking, crying, and honestly looked exhausted from everything. She kept repeating over and over that nobody was going to take her baby away, like she was trying to convince herself just as much as everyone watching. In the clip, You can literally hear the panic in her voice as she begged the universe not to let anyone take her child away. That line hit deep because no matter how people feel about Chrisean, everybody watched how rough her whole pregnancy journey was. The arguments, the stress, the non-stop chaos she had to push through while still bringing her son into the world. So when she breaks down crying about protecting him, that's not for show. That's coming from a place of real fear and real emotion.
When that tomboy, like, I like that. It was like, he gave me a compliment. But that's the only flirt thing. But he was really giving me advice, and it was just like, yo, you emotional. What are you doing? I said, whoa.
Lil Baby said that.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, sweetie, all right. He's like, what? You talking to me like you really that cool?
The comment section went crazy with mixed reactions. Some folks said it was powerful to see her fighting for her child like that, with one person even saying they hoped her family steps in to help her organize the custody paperwork because she clearly loves that baby and finally found a type of love she's been needing. Others used it as a moment to uplift her, telling her to keep God first and stand tall like so many women who've had to battle through the same kind of struggles. The energy was heavy, but it showed people were tapped in, not just entertained. But no matter which side people fell on, one thing was obvious. Chrisean was done staying quiet while everybody else tried to control her story. And right as everything was exploding between her and Blueface, Lil Baby finally got fed up with being dragged into their chaos. And when he spoke up, he didn't sound amused at all. He sounded tired and over it. He jumped on Twitter and shut everything down with one message. I ain't with the trolling-ish. I be laughing at certain tea, but right now, stop playing. I ain't never tried to talk to no Chrisean. Please stop attaching my name to that. And he didn't stop there. He doubled down with another post saying, I seen her at a party and told her some real, she know I never tried to talk to her. I know I bring attention, but even trolling about a child and stuff is too far. Thanks. That tone wasn't casual. It was straight frustration dripping through every word. Lil Baby wasn't just denying the rumors. He was basically begging everybody to stop dragging him into a storyline he never signed up for. And that's wild because Lil Baby usually stays low-key and never feeds into internet drama. So for him to step out and address it this hard says everything. Fans wasted no time jumping on Lil Baby's tweets. Some people said his statement proved he never had anything to do with Chrisean at all, while others felt like the fact he even had to clear it up showed just how messy this whole situation had become. Either way, it was obvious he wanted absolutely no part of that storyline. But the minute Lil Baby cleared the air, Chrisean slid right in and flipped the whole moment into her own win. Instead of letting his denial end the conversation, she used it as proof she'd been telling the truth from the jump.
If me and anybody got beef, why the first thing y'all try to say anything is about my son? My son got nothing to do with this argument. My son or my got nothing to do with our argument. Go toe to toe with me. Stop trying to throw up shit, cause I can throw up your.
She hopped online and wrote, "See? He finally said it. Facts. Told y'all I've been attached to his name because my baby daddy insecure ASF. Someone tell Blue he can stop trolling me." That was classic Chrisean energy. Messy, bold, and just a little triumphant. She wasn't just happy Lil Baby denied it. She was low-key gloating like, look, I wasn't the one lying. Blue made this whole thing up in his head. Then she doubled down again, posting, I'm done trolling. I just needed Lil Baby to clear the air cause my baby daddy gave me hell over a ninja and won't believe me about anything. It sounded like a mix of relief and a victory lap at the same time, like she'd finally gotten the validation she'd been screaming for. But here's where things took a turn. Even though Lil Baby denied everything, Chrisean's way of spinning it kept the drama alive instead of shutting it down. She wasn't trying to move on quietly. She was using his words to drag Blueface all over again and reminded the world who she felt was really the problem. And then, she took it even further. After all the back and forth, Chrisean didn't just defend herself. She dropped a claim so disturbing it made the internet freeze for a second. She said Lil Baby wasn't just accidentally tied to her name, he was actually trying to sell her off to his rich sugar partner for threesomes. She described it like he was lining her up as some type of business arrangement, like she was supposed to be the entertainment for another grown man with money. That's a wild accusation to even say out loud. And the way she said it, emotional, frustrated, and angry, made it clear she didn't pull that out of thin air in her mind. It sounded like something she'd been holding in for a minute and finally exploded with. It honestly felt like something she'd been holding in for a long time. And in that moment, she just let it spill. She straight up brought up Lil Baby, saying he complimented her in a way that didn't feel innocent at all, like there was another motive behind it. When she said it, the whole mood shifted because that's not the kind of detail people toss around lightly. And truthfully, you can see why a lot of folks actually believed her. When you look at the timing of everything, Blueface's obsession with Lil Baby suddenly makes way more sense. If he knew or even suspected something shady happening behind the scenes, that would explain why he kept pushing Lil Baby's name into the conversation over and over again. And let's be real, the way Lil Baby got so defensive in his tweets didn't exactly wipe away the suspicion either. It actually made some people raise their eyebrows even higher. Because if what Chrisean is saying is even halfway true, then this stops being baby mama versus rapper drama. This becomes a whole conversation about exploitation, and that's a completely different level of disturbing. That kind of claim doesn't just fade away. It sticks with people and changes how they view the entire situation.
The moment Chrisean dropped that sugar partner claim, the internet split right down the middle. Some people felt like she was doing way too much and reaching for attention, while others said she was finally exposing the part of the story she'd been too scared to say before. But no matter the side, the comments were loud and non-stop.
One fan wrote, "You have to get it together. If it's not true, move on and ignore him." But honestly, that's been the whole problem from day one.
Right, dude? Bro, that's not good, bro. Damn, dude. Bro.
Chrisean can't just ignore it when Blueface, and now Lil Baby's name, keeps getting thrown at her over and over again. And when the accusations get this dark, just move on isn't as easy as hitting the block button. Another person chimed in with some tough love saying, "Stop letting that clown mess with your mental, ma. He's miserable and wants you to be as well. He wants attention and wants to feel important. Don't allow it. Every time you let him get to you, he's controlling you and pulling you down another notch. Stop allowing it." And not gonna lie, that one hit hard because if you read between the lines, people aren't just talking about Blueface anymore. Fans are slowly starting to lump Lil Baby into that same category. Men who might be trying to control her or take advantage of her. The whole narrative shifted, and suddenly everybody was questioning who was really telling the truth. That's exactly why the sugar partner allegation didn't get swept under the rug. People are starting to see a pattern, and they're tired of watching her break down in the middle of it all. Fans were begging her to walk away, to leave the whole situation alone, to just focus on her child instead of the chaos. And that comment was everywhere, which shows how exhausted the audience is with the never-ending drama. But here's the saddest part. Chrisean can't just leave it alone if what she's saying about Lil Baby is real. Because if a superstar artist really tried to pass her off to a wealthy friend like she was some kind of object, then we're not talking about petty drama anymore. We're talking about her fighting to protect her son from growing up in a world where his mom is treated like she's disposable. That's a whole different kind of fear and pressure. The fan reaction split into two loud camps. One side was clowning her, telling her to move on for good. The other side was whispering that maybe, just maybe, she might be telling the truth about how deep this exploitation goes. And honestly, the reason a lot of people didn't just laugh off her sugar partner claim is because they've already watched her trapped in a long, painful cycle with Blueface that looks way too familiar. Their relationship has been one big loop of hurt that everybody can recognize by now. First comes the love bombing. Every time things blow up, Blueface pops back up posting her, gifting her something shiny, hyping her up like she's his queen. And Chrisean, she jumps right back into defending him, telling the internet nobody understands their bond. That's the honeymoon phase, the part that keeps her hooked and gives her hope things will get better. And here's the wildest part. Chrisean herself has admitted she stands by Blueface and defends him like nothing ever happened. She'll go from crying one day to praising him the next, and fans have watched that cycle repeat so many times that seeing her drop another serious allegation didn't feel random at all. It felt like the next chapter in a story that's already been too heavy for too long.
If I'm intoxicated and I beat your ass, nobody's gonna say anything about me gaslighting, about me intoxicated, about what you did. They're gonna say no. Blue couldn't control himself. He got out of his emotions and her up. send him to jail. It's a double standard.
It's not a double standard.
You're an idiot.
If I get mad just like
You're an
that.
idiot.
No, now you trying to say I do it first.
You do.
All the time.
You do.
Then comes the tension phase. The little shady comments in interviews, the sneaky tweets, the passive-aggressive lives. Fans always spot it before the blow-up. That weird energy that hangs in the air right before everything goes left. And sure enough, it always leads to the explosion stage. Viral fights in public, screaming matches on Instagram Live, police being called, all the stuff that should never be brushed off but somehow gets packaged by them and their teams as just drama, like it's entertainment and not real life. And when that tension finally boils over, it's always caught on camera for the whole world to see. No filter, no edits, just chaos front and center for everybody scrolling. Right after that comes the justification and denial phase. Blueface flips the script on her, calls her unstable, says she's the one causing all the problems. Chrisean, already drained, ends up blaming herself and claiming he's misunderstood. It's textbook gaslighting, the kind that gets labeled as passion or a wild relationship, when in reality, it's a public cycle of hurt that should have been stopped a long time ago. And Blueface himself has been on video calling Chrisean crazy and saying she overreacts, like he isn't part of the reason she reacts the way she does. Then comes the reset. They get back together for the baby or out of loyalty, and boom, the whole toxic loop starts again. Fans already know the script before it happens because they've watched the same train wreck repeat over and over. Not gonna lie. When you put that whole cycle next to what Chrisean is now saying about Lil Baby, it doesn't sound that far-fetched at all. If she's been publicly treated like property, tossed around in fights, headlines, and messy interviews, why wouldn't she believe another man in the industry might try to use her the same exact way? That's why her story hits different once you lay out the pattern. The world has already seen how easily she gets mistreated right in front of everyone. And honestly, that's what makes the industry's silence around this whole situation even more concerning. Because as shocking as her sugar partner claim is, a lot of people truly don't know whether to believe her. And that confusion exists because of her reputation. People have watched her blow up, fall apart, forgive, cry, spin the block, defend Blueface, then expose him again.
This thing is jail talk. You feel me? Blue's not broke, yo. He got money. When I get mad, I call him a broke because he be doing broke shit. Like, stop playing. You feel me?
So now when she says something this serious, folks don't know if it's a breaking point or another chapter in the chaos. Let's keep it real. Chrisean built her whole public image on chaos. The fights, the crying lives, the screaming, the breakdowns. Fans have seen every version of her. So whenever she drops something this serious, there's always that crowd that jumps in like, oh, she's just being dramatic again. But that take don't always hold up because not every moment is clout or performance. Even in the middle of all her storms, there are moments where she looks too raw, too drained, too broken for it to be an act. That live where she cried about protecting her baby, that wasn't theatrics, that wasn't trolling, that was pain, straight up pain. So when she later said Lil Baby tried to line her up for his sugar partner, the way she said it felt less like attention-seeking and more like someone begging the world to take her seriously for once. And that's exactly why this situation is so messy. On one side, you've got her wild reputation that makes people doubt almost anything she says, but on the other side, you've got all the receipts showing how she's been treated in her relationship with Blueface. Receipts proving she's been controlled, embarrassed, and used before. When you've already watched her get disrespected publicly, it's not hard to see why she'd believe someone else in the industry might try to exploit her too. So when she claims another man tried to treat her the same way, it's not impossible. It actually sounds like something people know exists, but don't ever want to admit out loud. And that's where the real tension sits. Because if Chrisean is telling the truth, then this isn't just messy relationship drama, and it's not just Blueface being Blueface. This becomes a story about a superstar rapper allegedly trying to connect her to a wealthy sugar partner for threesomes. If that's real, the silence around it from the industry says way more than any statement could. So don't think this is over yet, because the way Chrisean keeps talking, it feels like she's not done exposing things. And whatever comes next might be even worse than what she's already dropped.